Sex myth. Blue balls is an actual medical condition. Guys are always complaining about blue balls. But is it an actual medical condition? According to one scientific journal, blue balls is a term describing pain near the scrotum after sustained sexual arousal that is unrelieved by ejaculation. The same study said this condition is deserving further medical investigation. So why is it called blue balls? The blood that causes an erection gets congested in the veins around the testicles. They can take on a bluish color, hence the name. If a guy doesn't ejaculate, the congestion of the blood can cause pain. The condition can be relieved immediately with self-medication.
Grimerica. Because my area is very much into consciousness studies and the history and prehistory of the human mind. And it's that really fascinates me, and the landmarkings.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Grimerica show. We're going to be chatting with Paul Devereux a little bit later about archeoacoustics and all sorts of fun stuff like that. But first, as always, Graham, I ain't no meat sack Dunlop. How's it going, buddy?
Again, I don't know what to say to this shit. I think I just might skip right by it and say there's a great chat with Paul Devereux coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we just scratched the surface with him, and I can't wait to have him back on.
He had to get to his dinner.
Yeah. That's the problem with UK guests. Is this time zone thing we have to sort out every time.
Yeah. Everyone should just be on the same time. That's what I say.
I think so too. Why couldn't we do that?
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird though.
It would be, because then you fly across the pond then.
You could go back in time maybe.
I don't like the time change. I think that's silly.
Well, I'm going to actually use the time change this year. I'm going to use the time change to continue to get up early and start working out in the morning.
Nice try.
That's a plan.
Is that your philosophy? Is that what you think is going to motivate you? Is just like you use the time change to get up early?
It's more like a procrastination to get it, because I was going to do it the other day. I was going to do it Monday.
Like, I'll just wait till the time changes. I'll just keep getting up at the same time.
Yeah. That's my philosophy, is it'll be easier.
I think you're backwards though. If you get up at the same time,
it'll be 5 in the morning.
It'll be earlier, yeah.
So if I get up, I can even sleep in a bit. I get up at 5:30.
Half hour. Just do a 25-minute meditation in the morning. You don't even have to work out. Just do.
I got the elliptical and a gut. So maybe I could exercise.
My friend lost like 40 pounds when I went to his stag. I couldn't believe how much weight he lost. Apparently, all he's doing is jogging for a half hour twice a day on his little treadmill in front of the TV or whatever, like just religiously twice a day.
Yeah, I could get up.
Just shredded the weight off. I couldn't believe it.
I could just get up in the morning, fire on a podcast. And then I think by the time the time change effect wears off, I might have already been long enough to make it a habit.
3 weeks.
That I might like it and be like, yeah, fuck it.
You might need 3 weeks for a habit building.
Probably.
Yeah. So what's with the meat sack thing?
I don't know. You said something about meat sack at some point. I just have meat sack written on the table.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it had something to do with blue balls.
No.
Can I come clean on that? Not come clean, but can I tell you?
There's got to be a better way to say that. That's solving the blue balls.
So after you're bugging me with texts about evidence for blue balls, I concede that yes, there's probably a real condition.
Blue balls is real, folks. You heard it here first.
And I think the way tantric practitioners get through it is through breathing, and they say massage helps as well.
Massaging your
balls? But it
balls?
takes like 3 minutes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 3 men.
No. 3-man massage. A 6-hand massage. If I close my eyes, I can't tell.
Then what happens?
So I guess it does happen to tantric practitioners. I guess they just, hopefully they know a way around it, or maybe it doesn't happen as much. But I think breathing is the key. Sure. So yeah, I guess my main thing is that I think that guys use that as an excuse when they're just sexually frustrated. I'm sure I did too.
Probably
right?
happened.
Wasn't really blue balls. I mean, I'm sure people get it, but a lot of people a lot of guys just say that because they're excited.
Well, how are you doing in your little abstinence?
Believe it or not, last night I actually felt a little bit of it. I'm like, is that blue balls? You know,
do you
talking?
understand the concept of how blue balls work?
Yeah.
So how did you gave yourself blue balls? Okay. Just making sure.
You don't want to let me try and come out of that, eh? Thanks.
Okay, no, you go ahead. I'll abort the...
It was on my mind. I was researching it a lot, and the guys at the bulletproof exec, right? They talk about that a lot, right? Where he doesn't ejaculate for like a week, or it's once a week when he does, right? And they talk about how it gives you better energy levels and all that. So I'm just trying to hold off a little bit.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Just experimenting.
You never fucking cease to amaze me, man. So you gave yourself blue balls and now you know it's real. That's all we need to know.
No, it wasn't really. It was just like a slight feeling that I thought, I wonder if that's what...
It could have been.
I don't think so. It was too coincidental with me researching and looking it up and all that.
and
yeah, so here's the UFO quote. So
Profound UFO quote of the week.
I was standing the mid-watch, sounding security watch, as always, went to the fantail on my rounds to talk to the seaman who stood there. UFO took off like nothing I have ever seen. It looked like it traveled 1,000 miles in just a split second in a zigzag motion, not making any noise or even sight of smoke. That was a rough one. That was Jonathan Beeston, a machinist repairman, first class U.S. Navy aboard the USS Comte de Grasse. And that was DD 974, Puerto Rico, December 1995. That was a recent one.
1995?
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah. How appropriate.
How so?
With the semen?
Oh, yeah. Always classy.
Well, that was a synchronicity of itself right there.
It wasn't just lowbrow comedy.
No, it wasn't purposeful.
Huh? What else you got?
Well, I got a dark synchro, but it's fairly powerful, and then a spam from one of our. I think she's been donating, and she knows you from Twitter because she set up a YouTube playlist of our music.
Oh, yeah,
that's
right. Someone tweeted that before.
So she's got kind of a lucid dream. It could be like a little deeper than that, if you want me to read it.
Lucid dreams, so that'd be like...
Is it real or a dream? What does that even mean?
I'll read a bit more here too, because she kind of talks about the show a little bit. Hey, hi Graham. I sent you guys an email back in July or June, I think, just telling you how excited I was to find Grimerica and how much I love your podcast. Then I went all the way back to the beginning of your episodes and listened from the beginning and just caught up now. And I say, wow, that's crazy. Thank you. I became a subscriber on iTunes because Darren's right. The sound quality is much better. So, yeah, that's interesting, Darren? If people are listening regularly, you might as well subscribe on iTunes. Or
Unless
Darren,
you're anti-iTunes.
Darren, is it the same quality if I subscribe to, like, I use an eye catcher app? Is
That's the
that
same thing.
same quality? So
Use
subscribing
iTunes,
on that
yeah.
is better than...
Or you can just download it right off the website too.
As opposed to what?
As opposed to
As far as, like,
Stitcher.
worse quality? Oh, okay. Right. Okay.
Is that I'm going to get sued for saying?
So she says she's going to make a donation soon, too, based on the $1 an episode idea. So anyway, she said, anyway, I thought I'd send you a story. I think they fall under the category of lucid dreaming, but not sure. I'll try and keep it short. When I was little, I had a reoccurring dream every night as I was falling into the realm between asleep and awake. I remember everything vividly. I used to fly a World War I plane every single night. I remember the wood paneling in the cockpit and the dials and levers. Every night I would dream about taking off. I must have drifted off once the plane was in the air because I don't remember that part, but the taking off happened every night. As I grew older, I had different dreams, all very vivid, that gave me hints of what else my World War I life was like once upon a time. I drove a stick shift convertible. I was a man, and I was a misogynistic dick. I even had lucid dreams of sexy time with my mistress in that life. Suddenly, in the middle of my dream, I would realize that she is my best friend in this life, and it would wake me up. The last lucid dream I had about my life from World War I so far was pretty intense. I was in a room on the second floor of a house. I was lying down on my back, and I'm pretty sure I was already wounded. I could hear someone coming up the stairs, and I knew that it was my war buddy, my best friend. When he came into the room, he was startled to see someone there, and before I could tell him it was me, don't shoot, he shot me right in the neck. I could feel blood oozing from my wound, and my hand was covering it up, trying to stop the blood enough for me to talk. It was pretty futile, though, and I could feel myself getting colder. My war buddy was devastated when he realized it was me. He didn't know what to do, and when we both knew I was dying. I tried to tell him with my eyes that I was okay. I forgave him, but I don't know that my message was received. I drifted off and died. In real life, I woke up bawling. The thing is, though, as I was dying, my war buddy started to look like my husband in my current life, which might explain why he's so protective of me and bends over backwards to do things for me. Anyways, I have tons more stories, but I won't put them all here in one shot. Until next time, then. Keep on keeping on. That's from Fiona. This is the best part. P.S. I know Darren will be all skeptiboy about this.
Skeptiboy?
I love it. But I got the Eiffel Tower spot on in the remote viewing episode. First thought, boom. I was working away while listening, and I jotted down my thoughts, and what I saw as your guest was reading the coordinates. Didn't really think anything of it till a few episodes later when you revealed the answer. So thanks for the email, Fiona. Skeptiboy over here has just got his staring up at the sky, trying to come up with a...
Yeah,
Maybe I should have waited till the rating and then called him Skeptiboy.
How can you can't rate it. What would I rate?
Is it like a past life synchronicity?
Past life synchronicity.
/ lucid dream. No, not that we have to label everything. I don't want to label everything, but that was pretty cool. Like,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, sure.
Best
But
friend,
I can't
that
rate
dream,
it.
and you know, the husband's face turning into the husband's face, and
It's a
he
dream.
used to be her best friend back in the war.
I think it's just a lucid dream.
Do you? You don't think there's any meaning to that at all? You believe in
Maybe
past
there
lives,
is.
don't you?
Yeah,
Isn't this some sort of a glimpse of evidence of past life
sure.
through a
But
lucid dream?
I can't rate it. It's not my place to rate that, is it? If it is, I'll give it a 6.5.
Yeah, you have a hard time rating like the personal time.
Yes.
Time ones. Okay. You want to rate this one then?
You got another one?
Yeah.
Synchro,
Is a dark
straight synchro, dark synchro. Let's actually, maybe I should save that for after when we're all sad.
Okay, so
kill everyone.
This is from Wes.
Wes?
Yeah, Wes.
Wes?
I don't know. It's W-E-Z.
Oh, Wes.
I'm a big-time Grimerica fan. Great work. The conversation is real, laid back, and with Darren interjecting with his impulsive observations, I feel as though I'm on the mic. Also, awesome guest lineup, including multiple Randall Carlson episodes and Duncan Trussell. Can't forget RPJ. That's our
resident Mexican.
Red pill junkie. So at the warehouse where I work, Wednesday around 9 a.m., I make up a story about an employee who's lost in the processing sorter. And he was lost and never ever heard from again. And when the emergency cord is pulled, all lines go down and it's silent. You can still hear his screams. I told my new supervisor this as a joke because marijuana and coffee brings the jokes out. When I come to work the next morning, there's a grim feeling in the air. So he comes to work the next morning. He can sense the grim feeling in the air. Come to find out, on second shift, about 10 hours later, someone was killed in the warehouse when they were crushed by a forklift. I've been there 5 years and never heard of more than a nail in a foot. Maybe a synchro? Thanks, guys. Your friend Mud.
Mud?
Yeah. So he made up the story that this employee was lost in the sorter, right?
Mm-hmm. What's a sorter?
Like it's in a warehouse, so it's like a big machine sorting shit. So like, if you get lost in the sorter, you're toast, right?
Sure. It sorts you?
Yeah, like rips you apart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oof. Ouch.
So he was saying, never heard from again. When the emergency cord is pulled, all lines go down and it's silent. You can still hear his screams. So this is a story he made up that one night. And then later on that night, some guy gets crushed by a forklift.
Eesh. 8.
Really? Wow. That's a good one, eh?
I want a good score from Synchronicity. If
And then you
Graham
play the
reads it out,
jingle.
then Darren might give it to me. Hey, don't you please rate it low. Yeah.
I hope the dude with the that got crushed by the forklift is not watching over us right now. I hope he knows that we're not joking around about him.
No. Just trying to lighten the load. There's got to be a better way to say that.
So yeah, there you have it, buddy. Thanks for the
We don't like
email,
the dark
lad.
synchros.
I know. That's okay though. They have to be included.
You should rate those ones.
Okay.
The Graham Reaper.
Sure. So what else do we have to talk about? The blue balls, the synchros, the t-shirts. I think we're
We didn't talk about the t-shirts, but I gotta do the quotes.
Oh yeah, right. This is
'Tis the season for the quotes. All from Jackson Taylor except for one.
So this is lately guys have been sending out like quotes from episodes and they're kind of scary. Some have been pretty well, you'll hear.
So from Jackson Taylor, quote number 135 at the 49-minute mark. I can probably find an article that says my best exercise is to sit on my ass and watch television. I remember that one. 136, 25-minute mark. Also from Jackson Taylor. If you can understand a two-dimensional triangle, then you can understand the universe. 137. At the 137 mark.
No way. Really?
Yeah, I just noticed that. Anything done with a good heart towards reaching these kids dying of suicide and drugs is worthy of your effort.
Oh,
Now check it out, 137.
oh, I see. Episode 137 at the 137 mark. Wow.
And then 138, he says that we broke the quote of the week because he couldn't pick one. Everyone should just listen to the intro. I think that was the initial Blue Balls discussion.
Oh, maybe.
And 139 from our buddy Adam Loyal. I don't like that look you just gave me. You made it weird. And those are your quotes, your favorite quotes in the last 5 episodes.
Thanks, Darren.
Yeah, of course, anyone can send those in, and I'll pick the best ones and read them every 5 eps or so.
Yeah, thanks. I like that.
There you go.
It's a little scary when I see them on Twitter, though.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a really bad one recently? Why'd you miss that?
Which one? I don't know.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I thought there was one that kind of
that
made my heart skip and be like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that.
I don't know.
Yeah. Probably best you missed that one.
I'll find it. If someone remembers or they sent it to me, send it again. I'll just blurt it out. Anything else?
No, we were talking the other day about
T-shirt.
keeping this thing paywall free, right? And for people that, when you say paywall, for people that don't know, that's when you charge people for episodes, right? Is that what they mean? What you mean by paywall?
That's
Either a back catalog or current,
or extra content.
or extra content.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to keep that out of this, and we just want to keep this value for value. So, the same content for everybody, right? Free, no ads, no sponsorship.
Long.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is a lot of people that do paywalls, then they don't do 3-hour episodes or 2-hour episodes.
Right, exactly. So we want to do this, putting out at least an episode a week. And, we want to thank everybody for donating because it does help with the expenses. There are monthly fixed expenses, and it helps pay for stuff like the new heater we just got. What did you call that? Ceramic heater? That's quiet?
Convection.
Oh, convection.
Confection.
Right, convection. And it's actually warming up after about 3 hours in here.
Yeah.
I think.
You could sleep in here now.
Yeah, maybe. I already have once.
Yes, you have.
Was that when Randall Carlson and them were here?
Yeah.
I think. So anyways, yeah, your donations would really help, and we appreciate it. So thank you very much. And T-shirts. There's some T-shirts, Save Sasquatch and the Grimerica one. If you donate 25 or more, we can ship some of those. There's a few sizes left. I mean, the thing is, once they're gone, I'll have to figure out how much money we need to order another batch. So I can only order so much at once.
Yeah, so order T-shirts.
And I don't want to get into T-shirt business either, so I don't know how we're going to do this going forward, but right now there's some available. Right? We've got to get Red Pill Junkie to get on this and open up a store or something.
We're in the T-shirt business. We just got to outsource it, I think, like Carlwood does.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the
we
best
should look into that.
Just send them the shit, send us a sample, boom, you deal with it. Then we could have a whole store.
Yeah, we should look at that eventually.
Toques.
I need a toque for the igloo.
There you have it. Anything else?
No, just review the show and
review the show. Support us. Grimerica.ca/support. All we ask is $1 an episode.
Yeah, or if you end up getting up to what were we saying, 432 or 420, just
for people who get to 432, you can bring a guest on or pick someone and we'll try and track them down and you can join us for the interview. And we'll do that. No one's close to there yet, but if one of you, we'll count on you guys to do your own accounting. You let us know when you're there and who you want to get on, and if we can get them, then you can join us, and if not, we'll find someone else and you can join us.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So check that out. Sign up for the newsletter, grimerica.ca/news, review the show, all that fun stuff, spam Graham, and don't get blue balls. I think that's about it. Enjoy the chat with Paul Devereux from across the pond on Thanksgiving, wasn't it? On our Thanksgiving?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I ate a bunch of dinner after that.
Yeah, you did.
All right, guys, enjoy the chat with Paul, and we will pick you up in the outro.
10,000 lights of compassion, they're shining down around me. I wonder if it'll happen, or will they ever take me? How will I know you when I see ya? How will I know you? How will I know you when I see ya? How will I know you? You're like a bird with no feet. You never rest and you never sleep. You're like a dog with no name. How are we calling you back again? 10,000 lights of compassion, they're shining down around me. I wonder if it'll happen, or will they ever take you?
All right, today we've got Paul Devereux here, and he's a researcher, presenter, artist, broadcaster, and author of many things that interest us in Grimerica. His latest books are Sacred Geography and Lucid Dreaming, How to Access Your Inner Virtual Realities. Paul's main interest has been archeoacoustics, ancient lifeways, and earth mysteries, basically like an umbrella term for archeo, astronomy, archeoacoustics, all that kind of ancient mysteries that we talk about here. He's also the founding co-editor of Time and Mind, which is a multidisciplinary peer-reviewed journal covering topics that are glossed over or ignored by traditional journals. So he's also conducting the Landscape and Perception Project, which is aimed at making a multidisciplinary study of selected prehistoric landscapes involving not only visual and acoustic factors, but whole other subject areas, especially archaeology within its arts-based context. And he's also founded, this is going back a ways now too, the Dragon Project. The Dragon Project was a study of physical, measurable energies at sites, the archaeology and anthropology of consciousness, exploration of human, biophysical, and mental reactions and interactions at sites, and multisensory properties of sites, especially acoustical properties. So lots of stuff here to talk about. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Hi there, Graham. Glad to be on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It's we heard about you through one of our guests that we've had on a couple times. He's doing lots of great research. His name's Randall Carlson. And when I started looking into your stuff, you touch on lucid dreaming and archeoacoustics. Those are two of my absolute favorite topics. So it's good to have you here to talk about it.
Well, thank you.
So
Good to be here.
I kind of wanted to start with what you're doing nowadays, like what some of your latest projects are. This type of archeoacoustics and the ancient site thing has come a little bit more into the mainstream these days. There's all kinds of researchers doing it. Are you still interested in researching all that stuff?
Oh, yes, more than ever. I mean, we started in about 1995, and I was with a Princeton group called ICRL, and we made a study of a whole range of Neolithic, Stone Age chambered monuments to get their basic acoustic frequency, their basic resonance pattern. I think the term is primary resonance. And there's reasons we did that I won't go into now, but we did it, and we went across southern England looking at some of these sites, and then across Ireland and ended up at Newgrange, the mighty monument in Ireland. Dates about 3,200 BC. It's got a 20-foot high chamber in it, and what we did, we set off a sound signal, and we waited till we could get the standing wave, that is the resonance, and it was always focused on 110 hertz, which is the lower baritone range of the human voice. And later, ICRL was a multidisciplinary group, and one of our people was a neurophysiologist, clinician, called Ian Cook, and we asked him if he could conduct an experiment to find out if there was anything about this particular frequency, and we didn't really think so, but it kept recurring. Anyway, he did it a couple of years later. He fitted it into one of the UCLA things he was doing, and we found that on that particular frequency, the activity in the brain changed in that the frontal cortex suddenly switched from right to left. The quiet zone that was normally there in the right went to the left, and also quietened down activity in the temporal cortex. We don't know what that means, but it certainly happened, and it threw it like a switch. And when he exposed people to other audio frequencies, and it all went back to normal with those, but just on the 110 hertz it switched. And this has given rise to a whole mythology on the internet about 111 hertz and all this stuff, and they don't even know where it all came from. And that's often the case, unfortunately, with a lot of people get into the earth mysteries and ancient mysteries. They do it all on internet, and they never know what the source of the research is, and they never go back to the original work. Anyway, that's where it started for me. And we've gone on. And what I look at now, we've just been doing work in Anglesey, an island off the north coast of Wales. And we've been looking at, I've been to Hull Saflini, the Fogu, the underground chamber on Malta. And we've looked at loads of stuff. I've been in the States as well, and in Canada for that matter. And we've been looking at all sorts of things. My two main areas of research are looking at ground patterns, these big geoglyphs, drawings in the desert. And, of course, you've got some up there in Canada. I looked at Whiteshell Park with these big boulder designs laid out on the hard rock surface.
Where's that one?
And that's in, where's Whiteshell Park? What's
I can search it here too.
What's the adjacent province to you?
British Columbia or Saskatchewan?
Manitoba.
Jesus.
It's in Manitoba.
Yeah.
And we went to the place that gave the name to Manitoba, Manito Arby, which means the place where the Great Spirits sit. Excuse me. And there's great areas of bedrock there after the glaciers. About 1,500 years ago, the First Nation people laid out these great patterns with small boulders of rocks. It's called petriform designs. And I looked at those, but I've been looking at stuff from the Mexican border up through. So, the Nazca lines and that in South America, all that sort of stuff. And we've so studying that as sort of sacred geography, if you like.
Right.
And I've also been very involved with acoustic sound at ancient sites. And a particular area of archeoacoustics, there's a lot of things under that umbrella.
Right.
But the thing I've particularly been looking at are ringing rocks that make a metallic or musical sound when they're struck with a small hammerstone. And normally when you hit rock with a piece of rock, it clunks, it's a dead sound.
Right.
But with these particular rocks, they ring. They are, as I say, musical. They have this metallic, weird sound. And so we've been studying that in depth, and also their context in the ancient world. They were revered and considered very special around the ancient world. In China, they were called Beinshi, very prized rocks that made of this musical resonance.
I wonder if that's not where Tibetan singing bowls come from.
Which, sorry?
Like Tibetan singing bowls and things like that.
Well, it is. Actually, we're talking about rocks here. And in China, they thought that rocks that made this magical musical sound were very endowed with qi, with the life energy qi. And they would pass hands for great sums of money in those days. poets wrote poems about them. So they were like sort of batteries, if you like, of chi energy. In India, they were also, we've traced them from the Neolithic era to 3000 BC in India, right through to about the 7th century AD, where the ringing rocks were used in temples. And one of the temples, for example, the Meenakshi temple, is regarded as the largest musical instrument in the world.
Wow.
Because the rocks ring and also resonate to a priest's voice. So we're studying all this stuff, and they're all over the ancient world. And our landscape and perception project with the Royal College of Art and my co-researcher, John Wozencroft, who lectures on sound and vision at the Royal College, let's have a look at a pristine prehistoric landscape. And the one we chose was an area in the Preseli Hills in South Wales, a ridge called Carn Menyn, because it's got outcrops of igneous rocks there. Mm-hmm. And quite a few of the blue stones at Stonehenge have been fingerprinted chemically and other ways to certain of those outcrops. So we went to investigate that visually and also acoustically. And we found that a high percentage of those rocks ring. And there's a village in Preseli called Maen Clochoch, which is Welsh for ringing rocks or bellstones. Wow. And that particular village, well, actually it's a small town really now, in the 18th century, its church didn't have bells. It had two of these blue stones hanging there, which rang just like bells. And we got up there and and if you go on our website at Landscape Perception, you can actually hear some of these rocks. So we did that, and so we think that one of the reasons for the great mystery why these blue stones were carted all the way from South Wales to Salisbury Plain, where Stonehenge now stands, we rather thought that it might have been the fact that these stones made these sounds, or at least it was a soundscape that the stones came from, that gave them special mana, special power, because a lot of people, American Indians, South African peoples, all sorts of peoples, thought that echoes and sounds from rock, these ringing rocks, was the sign of spirits inside the rocks or behind a cliff face. Mm-hmm. The Ojibwe Indians, for example.
I'm an Ojibwe.
You are?
You're a part of Ojibwe.
Half. Yeah.
Good. Hang on to that part. When they went into trance, when they went into trance, they would enter the cliff face through a crack or a fissure to meet the rock spirits beyond and gain rock medicine from them and bring it back into the human world.
Wow.
So the idea of spirits being behind cliff faces, beyond the rock surface, was very profound in many parts of the ancient world and the traditional world. So we think it's possible, we don't know, because we don't know who the people were who built Stonehenge, but we think those Neolithic people may have had similar beliefs. And so here we are on Carn Menyn in Preseli, South Wales, with a lot of the rocks that made these weird ringing sounds and musical sounds, or metallic sounds. And they might have been taking the magic mushrooms that grow in abundance up there as well and doing their rituals. And there are over 300 archaeological sites along the Preseli. Wow. There was already a sacred landscape. It was already a venerated area. And so we think that's why they brought those stones to Stonehenge, to authenticate the new monument, if you like. And it's, anyway, we did that. And we've been doing other work quite recently with ringing rocks and musical stones and so on.
So is there a couple different, go ahead, Darren, go ahead.
Is it entirely based on the type of rock or the shape, or what are the qualities of a rock that gives it the ring?
A very good question. I've asked, I don't know how many geologists, and A, they don't think it's a question worth bothering about, and B, nobody's ever given me an answer. I think I think what it is that the matrix of the rock is structured in such a way it gives off this sound when you hit it, when you strike it with a hammer stone. But I don't technically know, and I don't think anybody quite does yet. At least we can't get anybody giving a sensible answer why certain stones make this sound and other stones are just dull clunks. So it's odd.
So is there a couple different components to this acoustic type thing? Like, is it have to do with the rocks themselves that ring, like you're talking about, and that affecting?
This particular aspect, dealing with stone, ringing rocks, where you got evidence, and we have evidence of this on Carmenin, incidentally, where you have evidence that the stones were actually struck in the ancient past.
Right.
We call them lithophones. And we know, for example, in the Paleolithic caves of Spain and France, the old Stone Age, older than the Neolithic.
Right.
We know that the calcite deposits in some of them, the sort of stalactites and stalagmites and other formations, a light percussion on them, very like a fingernail in some cases, will give us beautiful ringing or even harp-like noise.
Wow.
And it seems to be related to...
What was that? Apparently the internet is on a long weekend, too.
Yeah.
So, okay, you were talking
in the
about...
wilds of Canada, aren't you? Well, there you go.
We're in the Great White North.
Anyway, I hope you can get rid of that little glitch.
Sure.
In the Paleolithic caves, the painted caves of the old Stone Age, where you've got paintings and images drawn and pecked onto the walls of the cave, some of them have calcite deposits, stalactites and stalagmites, that will give beautiful sounds, musical sounds, when lightly struck. And we know, peering through the layers of clear calcite deposits, that some of these were percussed, were struck tens of thousands of years ago. So what we've done, by and large, up to now, largely, archaeology has lost the soundtrack of the past.
Right.
We're trying to recover that soundtrack. Other aspects, though, you ask about archeoacoustics are echoes, places that'll give echoes, especially related to rock art. For example, petroglyph rock in Ontario is a slab of rock with about 900 prehistoric engravings on it. There are other slabs of rock around that don't have anything on them. And nowadays it's covered with, to protect it from the acid rain of our charming culture. And nobody knows why this particular rock was favored to have all these carvings. And we asked around, nosed around, and we found that there's a fissure, a crack that runs across the surface of this rock, and that fissure is about 5 meters deep. And we were told by locals, when groundwater intermittently runs along the bottom of that fissure, a sound comes up like whispering voices.
Wow, out of the fissure?
Out of the fissure. And so we figured that really the rock became important because it probably was considered a place where the rock spirits spoke, and it probably became a sort of oracle center. And so we were delighted to find that. And then I did a little article on this years ago, and I was contacted by an Ojibwe elder, in fact, who said, that is right, we knew that, but you're the first non-Indian, non-First Nation person to write about this. And I was invited on to do a ritual there, which I've never gone back, unfortunately.
Wow. So is there also a component of chanting or humming that will resonate with these types of rocks as well?
Well, certainly some of the Indian temples, subcontinent Indians, Apparently, some of the stone uprights in their hallways will resonate to the priest's voice at certain tones. But we had an interesting idea at Newgrange, the Neolithic site in Ireland, where at midwinter the sunbeam shines down the 70-foot-long passage into the chamber and lights it up like golden ingots for a short period of time. I think it's about 17 minutes. And then it comes out again, and you don't see that light again till midwinter the following year. And we found that the whole chamber, its basic resonance frequency was 110 hertz.
Wow.
Now, so in theory, you could have a group of priests there, or whatever, doing their chants, like Tibetan chanting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were using a sort of incense, or if they were doing a sort of sweat lodge type of thing with steam in that chamber, because there are bowls, there's shallow bowls there, and they found round stones in there. And we do know that in the Iron Age, the Iron Age Irish did have things like sweat lodges. If there was particulate matter in the air in that chamber, whether incense or steam, and then this sunbeam came in like a laser, cutting through into the chamber, you would actually see the wave patterns of the sound.
Oh, wow.
And on the walls, there is rock art that shows what we measured, the exact peaks and troughs, zigzag patterns that exactly matched the sound waves that we measured in there. Because the sound wave, once you've got a standing wave, it's very intriguing in that you can have the sound source in the center of the chamber, say, and you hear the sound. You walk away and you go into the trough of the sound wave. You don't hear anything. Move another couple of feet, and suddenly you hear the sound again, very loud, and then back again. And it's like that. You walk through the sound wave. And that's also true down through this long passage. You have this sound wave going down. And we suggested, we made a movie of this for Channel 4 television in the UK. And people were, sounds a bit far-fetched. Well, what we did was at Princeton, Professor Bob John, who is your actual rocket scientist, he produced this long plastic tube, I don't know, about 6 inches wide, a few feet long, and it was, on the bottom of it were laid the spores of sort of mushroom spores, fungi spores, very, very fine, laid along the bottom. And then the ends were sealed, and a light beam was shone through, and a sound was generated inside this long tube till its resonance frequency, not the same as in the Neolithic chambers, of course, but the resonance frequency for this particular tube was set up, and I swear to God, and it was filmed, the spores, the fungi spores, rose up and formed the sound wave in this beam of light that came across to prove the fact that the theory of what might have happened in Newgrange could have happened.
So basically,
and of course, they would have been black patterns moving in the mist inside the chamber, and I guess they would have been seen as spirits.
And that does, so they're basically, is that like a defiance of gravity thing, or are they lighter than? No,
it's sound. You see, sound is physical. People forget that.
Yeah, exactly.
In a vacuum of space, no one can hear you scream, remember? You need a medium for sound to travel in. And it's air is a medium, and it moves any molecules that are floating around, any particulate matter floating in the air will adapt to the shape of the sound. The sound waves. Sound waves are real. It's physical. And we may not see it normally. And, of course, to ancient people, it was a mysterious phenomenon, as were echoes.
So
to us, because we're bright and clever, that's why we never have wars and never kill people or whatever. Because we're clever people, we know we have a scientific explanation for sound. But people up until our era did not. They had a magical explanation for sound. Anyway, so sound is physical, and it has a physical effect on particles floating in the air. And that's why you would have seen these moving serpent-like dark shapes in the mist being illuminated by the rising midwinter sun, shining like a laser into the chamber.
That's funny that you mentioned that in line with like magic mushrooms, because I've had experiences when I was on mushrooms that you can kind of feel noises.
Naughty boy.
Feel noises bouncing off your chest, or that's when I had the realization that I was under something, remember?
Yeah.
On Grimerica psilocybus, where someone was coming down the stairs and I could feel the sound waves bouncing off my chest.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Brilliant, Darren. So that's kind of like kymatics when they do sound wave.
Yes,
sound waves.
You can see it in sand, for example, on a plate, and then if you run a sort of a violin bow against it, you'll see it all move into beautiful geometry, the geometry of nature, the geometry of sound.
Yeah. So this might have happened in the air.
Geometry of canonical geometry.
Yeah, so that might have happened in the air. I mean, they might have seen beautiful shapes in the air. Wow,
it's possible. We only hypothesize that, but it's really possible.
We should try that.
Well, then, yeah. But then there's the altered state too. Like music really has an effect on me. I mean, I've had drumming. Like drumming's had an effect on me. Music, sounds. So I mean, you can imagine. And the hemisync meditations, they alter the frequency between your left and right ear to bring you to that theta state.
Yeah.
So it's
any of this stuff will do it. Entrainment, certain rhythms. But what we found here, with the terms of the structures, the actual archaeology, it was 110 hertz. Now, in the internet world, cyber world, we have talk about 111 hertz, and there's a reason for that. That was lifted off our work for various reasons I won't go into, by other people. And, of course, unfortunately, that's what people get to hear, because those of us do the work are too busy doing the work to propagate it on the internet.
Yeah.
So, but it's 110 hertz, boys. That's the real frequency. That's the one to get.
Right.
Binary code.
Whatever it is.
So how do you find, speaking of the internet, how do you find it over the last 10 or 20 years you're doing all your research? You must have seen a big shift in acceptance in the mainstream, or people interested in it. Like it's shocks me.
A huge area of interest. And you have two lines of interest. One is actually within the mainstream. They've been very stubborn, mainstream archaeology. The anthropologists are much better, because they mix with the primordial peoples, primary peoples. But the archaeologists took a long while, but we now have a lot of archaeologists looking at in fact, it was in 2003, and I was part of a small enclosed symposium at Cambridge University, where we studied, where we had people who were looking at sound in all sorts of ways, particularly sound, for example, in Roman and Greek amphitheaters and things like that.
Yeah.
And it was there that it was decided, it's getting very loose, all this, let's call it archeoacoustics. And that was 2003. 2006, the book came out that was called Archeoacoustics. And it was all the papers that were read at that closed symposium. And that's where it all came from, really. But people have been looking at sound for a long while at various ancient places. So that has happened. And in Time and Mind, our journal, we do often have a paper on archeoacoustics. But as I say, it's peer-reviewed. It's not any old rubbish.
Yeah.
It's serious stuff. People who know what they're talking about. And on the other hand, you have the popular version that gets out on the internet. Now I'm going to sound like an old prick here, but the truth of the matter is half of it is bollocks. It's absolute rubbish that gets out there, new age nonsense. And it's sad because I've seen the whole thing. The whole Earth Mistress scene was completely ruined, really, by people writing. I better not mention names; I'll be sued from till the end of time.
Give us initials.
I'm not going to do that. But Joe Blogs out there, several Joe Blogs who wrote books and titivated and tantalized people with ideas of ancient universal civilizations and all the rest of it. And that's what people want to hear, because they're not really interested in what the ancient peoples actually did. They want ancient astronauts, they want Atlanteans, they want something other. And it gets into the system and it gets repeated megafold on the internet. And so people like me and others, real researchers, we quietly in the shadows, whereas all this other stuff gets out there. And one of the things that really annoys me, of course, the people that get all the stuff out there, and a lot of it phony and deliberately tantalizing, they are the ones that bring home the big fat checks at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's money. It's money in the end. And it's annoying, but at the end of the day, it's like burning books, because real knowledge gets lost.
So I wanted to ask you about that a little bit, about what's happening recently and the amount of information that is starting to show that there might have been civilization prior to the Ice Age, like with sites like Gunung Penang and Göbekli Tepe. What is your thought about these ancient cultures going back farther than we originally thought?
Well, Göbekli Tepe, I'm going near there in a few weeks, actually. Only it's getting a bit hot in tourism terms. And I'm giving a paper at Archeoaccoustics 2, which is being held in Istanbul at the end of this month. They're old. There's no question. I mean, no archaeologist is going to argue with you that there are civilizations we don't know about. Whole cities have been found under lakes in China, for example, that we don't know who the hell built them. But when you check back, and it's important you do this, it's back again to the idea of going to original research.
Yeah.
You go back, you find the evidence actually for pre-Ice Age civilizations is either false or incredibly thin or incredibly manipulated evidence. But certainly there are old civilizations, but not a universal civilization. Many ancient civilizations around the world, some that we know of, some we've tracked back, and others we don't know, by peoples that came and went, like a sine wave in the hallway of time. It's just it's not unusual, and but it's fascinating. But this idea of a universal civilization before 10,500 BC, rubbish.
Huh.
There is no hard evidence for it, but there's a lot of speculation that has given us fact. Let's put it that way, and a lot of storytelling that's given us fact, because that's what people want to hear. It makes me highly unpopular to say this, but I'm concerned with the real story of the human race. I'm concerned with the actual heritage of humanity, and it's important not to smear it with 20th, 1st century and 20th century rubbish.
So you don't think there was a sophisticated civilization like 10, 11,000 years ago?
Oh, I think there probably were, but these would be individual ones that came and went.
Right.
But, the Ice Age only came down so far.
Right.
So if you're looking at Göbekli Tepe, you're not looking at a pre-Ice Age culture.
Right.
But certainly there were very strange, very mysterious cultures, They go back 10,000 BC.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah. So, hey, I wanted to ask you, because you've also done research into lucid dreaming, and you've written that book on lucid dreaming. Now, it came to me that lucid dreaming could be used as a divining tool as well. So when you've been going through all these ancient sites, and then you've got into lucid dreaming, did you have any experiences
yes,
within your dreams?
I had one. It was at an ancient sacred well in Cornwall, and it's the well is actually deep in the forest, but they built conduits for it in stone, and it bubbles up in this ancient 10th century chapel that now hasn't got a roof, and it's in the middle of a forest, and it's all green light and whatever. And they used to do healings there up until about the 17th century. And the water bubbles in a corner in this stone sort of bowl thing that comes up. It's radioactive, incidentally. And I thought, one of the stories I heard about was that people who partook of the waters would then be asked to go to sleep to be healed. And I went to sleep. There's a ledge around the edge of this ancient chapel, very tiny. And I did. I fell asleep, as I sometimes do in the middle of the afternoon. And I fell asleep. It was only for about 10 minutes, but I had a very, very, very clear dream.
Wow.
Which a pair of hands came in front of my eyes and picked up the water. The water was there, and they picked up the water in a certain way and applied it to my eyes. And I was deeply moved by this. I woke up, and I went over to the bubbling water, and I lifted it up and spread it over my eyes, just like it showed. And I'm still here. That was a lot of years ago. I know somebody's dead now, but I know somebody used to take LSD at ancient sites for extra insight to the sites. And so that you can use it that way, yeah. I mean, I had my first lucid dream in 1989. It was very, very vivid. It lasted a long while. And I was aware that my mind, brain mind, could create realities that were as real, as tactile, as spatial, as waking consciousness. And so that made me realize that waking consciousness is probably some sort of lucid dream we're all locked into. So yes, I will get run over by a bus, and then I'll wake up somewhere else. And it's it's fascinating what the human brain mind can do, and how we see things. We don't just see with our eyes alone. Other processes go on, and I know, I've had big drug experiences in my youth, my wild and woolly youth. Powerful experiences. I've experienced phenomena in the skies with witnesses. I've even seen one elemental type creature with my wife. We both saw it in Ireland. So there are these other worlds or other realities. Can you
go into details about that creature, or maybe the UFO? Or
you're holding me back for my dinner.
Oh, I am too.
I'm going to have to go. But okay. What you can do, if you like, you can call me at another time, and I'll go into these things.
Let's do that. Let's have like a part 2, and we'll go into some of those.
Yes.
Because one of the things we like to do, we have a platform here that we can share people's experience in a non-judgmental and non-ridiculing way. So it's perfect to be able to talk about some of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Right on.
So let's go into because I mean, one of my the actual Time and Mind journal, the actual subtitle is the Journal of Archaeology, Consciousness and Culture.
Yes. Because
my area is very much into consciousness studies and the history and prehistory of the human mind. And it's that really fascinates me. And the landmarkings, the acoustics, and the belief in spirits beyond the rock face. These are all aspects of consciousness in cultures earlier and quite different to our own.
Yes. Yeah. And some of us have experienced certain things, so it's hard to just discount all that
Absolutely.
stuff as pure mythology.
Oh no,
right?
the 21st century mainstream view of the world is okay, but it's incredibly narrow.
Yeah.
And the full, nature is a very big book. And our culture's only read the first few pages.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. Lots of quotes here from Paul.
I've got 110 hertz here.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Paul. Enjoy.
Okay, guys,
enjoy
I've got to sign
dinner.
off for now, but I look forward to part 2.
Great on. Thanks a lot. Take care. Okay.
Take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Here's 110 hertz.
What's with all the static? Why'd you turn it off?
It's only 10 seconds long. What are you doing over there?
Definitely affecting my brain.
Yeah.
Oh, serious.
You wanna know, will the sun keep glowing? Will the rain keep raining and the wind keep blowing? Can a man change the minds of men? Can you go where you never been? Let's ride that train for tomorrow.
Paul Devereux, man with a plan. What'd you think, buddy?
Yeah, I liked it. Can't wait to talk to him again.
Other than the shitty internet?
Yeah, but that's okay. It'll sound okay.
Yeah,
Or it did
it
sound
sounded
okay.
okay. Because I fixed it.
I
I don't know
think
what's going on there. Just our fucking couldn't pay our internet bill this month.
It wasn't us, was it? Was it our
Well, we were
internet?
calling his telephone, so
Maybe it was. Yeah, I don't
it
know.
was either our internet or possibly Skype.
I finally got some of my curiosity on archeoacoustics satisfied. I mean, sure, we could read about it all, but it's pretty good to talk to somebody that knows a bit more about that. Like, when we tried to talk about it in the past, I feel like just kind of touched the surface. This is kind of more about the sound and the resonance and what really goes on.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Schwager. I wonder if those two get along.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to ask him about that because they both studied Newgrange a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I thought of it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It makes me want to go to England. I really do want to go back there.
Mike is there right now.
I know. In Leeds.
He was texting me. I was texting him. He's still there till Thursday.
Speaking of England, I can give a shout out to one of our. I don't know if he's a new listener
Space
or
Pigeon?
not, but Space Pigeon. Yeah, yeah. He's from my mom's hometown. Like, I've been to his little town, Skipton.
Skipton, UK.
I remember the walk around the castle and everything. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
There's a castle there.
Yeah,
We rented out his Grimerica headquarters.
my cousin wants to get that castle tattooed on himself.
He should get a Grimerica Moai tattooed on himself.
He should.
No, don't do that.
But if I went to England this time, it wouldn't be just like hunting for castles. It would be going to ancient sites and Fusili or Priscilli. I mean.
Fish and chips.
Oh, jeez. How boring.
What?
There's all kinds of ancient mysteries there. Crop circles and...
You still got to eat. Crop circles aren't ancient mysteries. What's there in Egypt? Stonehenge.
Egypt.
Or England. Stonehenge.
Well, there's all the stuff that he talked about.
That's in Ireland.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Oh, you're thinking Wales. No, Wales is attached to England.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You drive through Wales, I think, to get to the ferry that goes to Ireland, and the
been.
bar on the ferry has more taps than seats in the bar.
Really?
In the pub. Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah.
I've never been across the pond.
Yeah, you should go one day. Take the family.
One day.
It's really cool. Lately I've been thinking about England more and just going back up there, driving through the countryside. It's beautiful.
And there you have it.
Yeah. So I can't wait to have Paul back on to talk more about this stuff and some of his experiences and get a little deeper into it.
Yeah, chat for a little longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. As always, head over to grimerica.ca/support for all the different options to help us heat the igloo and keep the interwebs flowing and pay the bills and pay off Graham's credit card.
That's right. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, we appreciate all our donations, but yeah, the monthlies really help. So yeah, check out the options there. If you can't afford to support us monetarily, as always, tell your friends, tell people on Facebook, sign people up for the newsletter, spam Graham, and review
the show on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you can.
Yeah,
and you can comment on the website as well, right? People, we could plug that a little bit more. People can go to the episodes and comment
on grimerica.ca.
Yeah,
there you have it.
And tell them about the t-shirts.
T-shirts? Why don't you just tell them about the fucking t-shirts?
Well, I might have some left, right? There's some, like I've already shipped a few out, right? Just if you want to donate, what do we say, over $25 or something?
Yeah, preferably over 25.
Yeah.
25 breaks us even. We make 12 cents.
Yeah, we're not a super efficient operation here, but we like to get the little Moai t-shirt out, and I've got the Save Sasquatch one too. How can people see those pictures?
Twitter or Facebook page.
Did you hashtag it at all? No, you didn't, did you?
No, hashtag suckers. You're on the fucking Twitter, you do it. And it'll automatically go to Facebook too. Go fuck yourself.
Can I retweet it with a hashtag when people find them then?
No, you can't do that.
Can't you say hashtag Grimerica t-shirt or something and then people just search that? Isn't that a professional way to do it?
Sure. Go to the Facebook page and go to pictures.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or go to Twitter and go to pictures and see Graham with his selfie.
You can do that? Go to Twitter and go to pictures?
Yeah. Someone asked why you were stabbing yourself.
I know, that was pretty funny. It could look like it. And then he goes, oh, it must have been a selfie stick.
Yeah, but if we can do, decent and not lose money on the t-shirts, then we definitely can keep those flowing. So it's
says Darren, who's not mailing them out.
Yeah. If we can if we as long as we can keep money flowing, if people buy them, then we can. I guess it'll take us a bit to get a feel for the sizes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult right now.
Don't be afraid to buy some for your kids.
Yeah.
Because we got smalls.
No, I didn't get smalls this time, no.
Oh, never mind.
No.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
10,000 lights of compassion, they're shining down around me. I wonder if it'll happen. Will they ever take me? How will I know you when I see ya? How will I know you? How will sees her face every hour. And she's sweet, but she tastes sour. In a box she keeps a flower. In a box she's a flower. Yeah, in a box she keeps a flower. How will I know you when I see you? How will I know you? How will I know you when I see you? How will I know you? 10,000 lights of compassion, they're shining down around me. I wonder if it'll happen. Will they ever take you? Will they ever take me? Yeah, will they ever take me? Oh yeah, how will I know you when I see you? How will I know you? Yeah, how will I know you when I see you? How will I know you?
Synchronicity, it's time for another installment of the Canadian Third Party Synchronicity Rating Authority.